Welcome to Bitcoin Speaks. I'm Random Fudmeister. I'd like to ask you about investing. My financial advisor, like many others, does not recommend investing in Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. I bet he or she recommends about 40% of your money in bonds. She does recommend about 40% of my retirement fund in bonds. How's that working for you? Bonds did well for many years until they crashed in 2022. Yep, 2022 was a bad year, but the previous decade was good, right? Yes. NFW. 10 years ago, when millions of folks retired, the advisors told them bonds was a safe haven for the long term. Guess how they did? Well, I think they kept up with inflation. Hell no. They got played. Return was about 1.5%. Inflation was about 2.5%, if you believe the crackheads who came up with the CPI. The Consumer Price Index. In reality, inflation was much higher. Just look at housing costs. Up about 8% a year for the last 10 years in most major cities. If you want a house, you got to make about 8% on your stocks and bonds after taxes and fees to keep up. Otherwise, you've fallen behind every year. And they call treasuries risk-free. Shoot, crack is a terrible drug. My stocks have done well for the last 10 years. That's the good news. S&P 500 up about 60% over 10 years. What's the bad news? I don't know. Bad news is stocks going to be coming back down to earth, just like they always have. Look out below. You think stocks are going to crash? I've been hearing that for at least 10 years. Well, let's go back a little further. Since 2000, the total return of the S&P 500 has been about 5%, and that's only after we got to the most nosebleed prices in history. It won't take much to wipe out the entire total return since 2000. Don't say I ain't warned you. I bet your financial advisor ain't warned you. Okay, sure. There are risks with every asset. What am I going to do? Buy gold and bury it somewhere? I like gold. I do. It's purty. Can I send it over the internet? No, why not go with the most secure, reliable, certain asset out there? Bitcoin. Certain to be volatile, that's for sure. That's why my advisor does not recommend it. No, your advisor don't recommend it because there's no payoff for her. How is she going to buy a yacht if you buy Bitcoin? Well, there's no payoff for me either. No dividends, no interest payments. That's true. But we're talking about the only truly scarce asset out there. Look at it this way. Bitcoin, in the scheme of things, is brand new. Its market cap is about $550 billion. If you add up all the assets in the world, you get about $550 trillion. What happens when 1% of that total, that's $5.5 trillion, moves to Bitcoin? I want you to ask your financial advisor that question. My advisor will say that's not a realistic scenario when most people believe Bitcoin is going to zero. Then try this question. Bitcoin has about 200 million users worldwide. Those users have moved the price from zero to about $30,000. What happens when an additional 100 million people buy Bitcoin? It'll be young people who know Bitcoin ain't going to zero. In the world, there are about 2.3 billion people aged 20 to 39. 100 million is less than 5% of those people. You think those young people are going to be buying overpriced houses or overpriced stocks or bonds that are all turned into junk? No way. Gold? That's what Grandpa's buying. They want the real deal. A secure way to store wealth. A way to send and receive money over the internet. A way to say, fuck off to the banksters and fund managers and other weasels. What happens when they buy Bitcoin? Well, all things being equal, the price will go up. That's right. By how much? Who knows? Certainly not your financial advisor. She's going to advise you to stay on the sidelines and watch Bitcoin take off. You want my advice? Not so much. Fire your advisor. Buy Bitcoin. I'm a sure thing. Can't lose. Strap in and blast off. No thanks. I prefer to keep my feet on the ground. You mean stuck in the mud? But you better get out of the mud and move away before you get burned by my flames. I'm fitting to blast off. All systems go. Okay, Buzz Lightyear. Hundo P to infinity and beyond. Dream on, Flyboy. I have a dream today. I have a dream that your financial advisor gonna see the light. And it's a wrap.